This is an Efficiency is Everything article summary on saving time by applying industrial engineering to wiping your countertops. So jumping right into it, we have optimal pathing. So this would be something like taking large wiping patterns across your surface rather than, say, small patterns, and not going over the same area twice. I understand if you have to get like a sticky spot off. The other idea here is if you stop and start in the same place, let's say near your sink, something like that means you don't have to walk back across the room. This isn't always possible, but it's something maybe to consider. Now this is a thing I learned about theory versus reality. So in theory, you should be able to do circular patterns starting from the middle of a table and going all the way to the outside, and that should save you the most time. That reduces the amount of acceleration that you're gonna have to go through. However, I didn't see this work in practice because the corners of a table had to be gone over again. So that required some extra time. So this might work if you have a circular surface. So equipment, I really like this one. This one was like mind-bogglingly simple, but like blew my mind. So using a sponge is, say, less effective because the sponge is so tiny versus like a rag, and a rag would be, say, less effective than using a towel. So a towel will cover more surface with less, passes over. Using an abrasive cloth, this could be, say, cotton or microfiber. I actually don't know what mine are made of. I'm guessing cotton, and it does the job. And there is a type of towel weave called a waffle weave. I think all of our towels have something like this, but basically some of the towel is protruded. So when you're wiping hard on a surface, you're putting all that pressure, or at least a lot of the pressure, into the protruded part, and that can help you get out sticky substances. So a good environment. So having lots of lighting, good lighting, means you can actually see dirty spots, so you don't have to go back over it when you're all done. And a quiet environment helps you stay focused. Now I'm an audiobook podcast fan, so I prefer multitasking, but by the book, being a quiet environment is best for this. And then if you can have just as few items to move when you're doing the wiping. So say you have a counter, it would be best to not have to pick up items. So if you could just not have items on the counter. Now this kind of contradicts the have items on your counter so you don't have to open up a cabinet to go get them. But it's kind of a take and give. And then have a good location for where you keep your towels, cleaning supplies, your trash and laundry. If these are too far out of the way, you're going to be spending more time transporting yourself to get those items. And then consider what quality you need. Do you need a perfectly clean counter? Say your grandparents are coming over and they need to be impressed. So you need perfection. So I do talk about how I get my perfect counters in the article. I'm not going to go into it here because it's like a 4 or 5 step thing. It takes too long. But maybe you just cooked dinner and you have a just freshly dirtied counter. You might not even need soap. You can just either wipe it down or to get like crumbs off, or maybe just lightly water it. Now, and don't put too much water, because if you put too much water, you might end up having to dry it later. So keep that in mind. Now, in the article, I talk about like the motions. So there's this thing called third legs. If you want to read about those, or you want to hear what AI has to think, I put all that in the article. I think those are interesting, not as quite of heavy hitters as the ones I mentioned, but definitely worth checking out if you were interested in this topic. So take care, guys.